what's up? Welcome back to my channel, CokiCreative. My name is Elena, and today we are doing another speed build. This speed build I did a while ago. I feel like that's what I say in every single one of my videos at this point. I need to get better at doing this right after I build my build. But anyway, this is another tiny house. Actually, it's not a tiny house. It's 100 and some tiles, but it is a small house. I am here in Oasis Springs, and I was originally with this build going to do a whole entire tiny house community, but my plans changed once I started building this. I ended up really falling in love with this house, and when I first started building it, I didn't even know what style I was going to do it. I was just like, let's make a tiny house, let's just do it. But I ended up like playing around with the roofs, and I definitely got this like deserty kind of mid-century modern vibe from it, and I went with it. Here it's still kind of like, it still doesn't know its style yet, but I get there. And once I change these pillars out, it all, the vision comes to life. And I was really inspired with this house with just Oasis Springs in general. I think Oasis Springs is a really cool neighborhood. It comes with base game, I'm pretty sure, and it's very deserty. It's beautiful all year round. So if you have seasons and you kind of get annoyed by the snow like I do, even in The Sims, I get annoyed by the snow. Like, that says something. But I wanted it to feel like it kind of went with Oasis Springs. Like, I took a lot of the colors from Oasis Springs. It has that really warm color. Well, obviously it's a desert, but it has really warm oranges, and then it has like just some other greens in there, but I didn't use green. I used the warm orange inspired from, you know, the desert around. And then I also added this like pale blue kind of gray color just to cool it down. I really wanted to play with cool and light with this build, and I'm really excited how it turned out. And fun stuff, I actually have played with this build. I've had a family in here before, because I do play a lot. I do mention this in other videos, but I do play a lot. And one of my sim families who I believe would be really into mid-century modern, he moved here, and it is not the cheapest home in the world, but I would say it's definitely like, it's not a forever home, but it's a nice home. It's in between your starter house and your forever home. And I love it. Honestly, you could even retire here. I also used a few packs. I will put that in the description box below. I did not use all of the packs because I wanted to make this build as playable as possible for as many simmers as possible. I try to do that as often as I can. You might see it on Instagram. Sometimes I will say I only use this pack. If I don't mention the packs that I use, I probably try to use them all. I try not to do that. Sometimes when I really, really want to make a build as good as it can be, I will use all of the packs. But I do like to challenge myself as much as I can. And I definitely used Discovered University. I used Get Famous and probably Spa Day. The sides are from Get Together, I'm pretty sure. So I used a couple. So it is very playable, some really popular packs. So if you do have these packs, then go right ahead, download those from the gallery, check it out. But we'll get back to describing this build. So there was a lot of windows that were this like cool gray blue color, and it looked really, really nice against that. I'm pretty sure those are Spa Day I don't want to say wallpaper, but siding. That's the tan color, and together they just looked really good together. And then when I discovered the university brick and rock thing that I used for what is the makeshift chimney, I loved the way they used the same color combo. So this house altogether, aesthetically, for me personally, I really like the way it turned out. And whenever I do builds like this with like kind of contrasting colors, I try to use windows, like the blue windows on the tan wall and then the tan windows on the blue wall, just to kind of make those things pop and contrast against one another. That is something that you don't absolutely need to do, but it's something that I really like doing because I really feel like it makes a difference. It is a way you can really draw your eyes to kind of an accent in the wall, you know, in the build. And a lot of my builds, I feel the facade for me is very important. I don't do a lot of apartments. I do like doing apartments, but there's something about creating a beautiful facade that just makes me excited. Well, growing up, I always really wanted a house that was like had this factor, like when you rolled up. And so all of my builds, I want them to be kind of funky and I want them to be unique, but at the same time really cool and beautiful. And this one is definitely more of a realistic house. You might even see it in a neighborhood. Some of my builds are like, that is not even possible to build that. Things don't fly in the air like that. It needs support. But this one is actually more of like a realistic one. Like you could drive through a neighborhood and see this build somewhere in that neighborhood. I wanted to also have a little bit neater of landscaping. Sometimes I like to make things a little wild. There's nothing wrong with that. But this one, I wanted everything to be really neat. Whenever I build mid-century modern houses particularly, all of the landscaping is a little bit more shapely, a little bit more angled. There are less like, compared to my like overgrown look that I do in cabins and some like boho houses. Whenever I do mid-century modern or modern houses, I like to keep lines as clean as possible. And whenever I do put, let's say, a bush down or a tree down, I want that tree to be almost like a highlight, like a feature piece and not just like a filler, if that makes any sense at all. I really like the idea of design. I always say this, in another life, I would be an architect or an interior designer. I'm not. For now, I have The Sims and I love it. And I obviously wanted to carry the same color theme into the house just because I was digging it so much on the outside of the house. There was no way I wasn't gonna bring that into the inside. And the floor, I'm pretty sure, well, I'm thinking now, I'm like, I think I know these floors. They're from City Living, so I might have used City Living also. But I used like a little bit more of a glossy blonde, or kind of, not blonde, but glossy tan, blonde, wood, whatever. I'm just gonna go with blonde. And then I chose this pale blue-gray wall to go with it, just like the outside. And then I used the Spa Day cabinets because I thought the gray looked really nice in there. And I don't do a lot of gray kitchens. I usually do either lots of pops of colors in kitchens or like an all black kitchen. But gray is a color that I don't use often enough. It's a great color. It goes with pretty much anything. And after building this, I probably built like another gray kitchen just because I was like, I like the way this turned out. And a lot of my kitchens, I changed it to the Cool Kitchen. Sorry guys, I don't use the Spa Day one, but the Cool Kitchen is also a gray kitchen, so it all works out. Cool Kitchen, side note, is a pack that I do really like. Another pack is Dine Out. If you want to find more clutter for your kitchens, kitchen clutter for me just takes a kitchen from being like, oh, that's a nice kitchen, to wow, that's an awesome kitchen. So these two packs, if I know the build, I want the kitchen to be the centerpiece, I make sure Cool Kitchen and Dine Out are in that little like pack use. So, or however you say it. And a lot of time recently, I've been on like a gold kick. So I really wanted to steer away from the gold and I wanted to go back to silver. Silver has been a really popular color for years. And one of the reasons why I think we're using gold a lot is because silver has been used so often. But sometimes it's nice to just like do something that works. And I'm like, you know what? Not that I'm playing it safe with this kitchen, but it's definitely not like a wild kitchen, but the Sim that I had live in this house, this kitchen's great. They can cook easily. There is enough countertops for them to cook on, which is something that really, really annoys me when I'm building. And I'm like, let's clutter this kitchen up. And then they can't use the kitchen. And I want my builds, I've said this before, I probably said it earlier, I want all my builds to be playable. I really, really do, because that's just really important to me. Just because that's my main thing I like about The Sims. I'm a player first, a builder second, but lately I've been so busy with my Instagram that building has definitely taken the lead of my interests. So another fun feature about this kitchen is I put a fireplace in there, and I know it's not like super common, but my old house that I lived in before this one was over 100 years old, and they had a fireplace in their kitchen, but it was taken out and it turned into a brick wall. It was really pretty, but I wanted to put like a really fun feature in there, and it's kind of open concept, so you can still appreciate the fireplace from the dining room. The dining room has a big open, I'm pointing to the screen, you can't see me point, but you can see through the dining room, you can see the fireplace. In the living room, you can look over, see the fireplace. So it is technically at the most center of the house. Everywhere else in this house has a lot of windows, so I was really limited on where I could put it also. So that was the smartest place, and I actually really like it. I would totally have a fireplace in my kitchen. I have an open concept house now, but if I had like a closed-in one, I would be totally fine. My rings are loud, sorry. I would be totally fine with having a fireplace in my kitchen. And this dining room, what a fun dining room. I wanted it to have the most pop of color in the house. I'm not sure what inspired me about it. I just really like this wallpaper. I can't remember what pack that wallpaper comes from, but the one with the really pretty design, it went really well with that solid color that comes with base game. And I did put a little bit of gold accents in here, and I used a lot of like really warm colors because I wanted this dining room to just be a place where you can sit around with your family, friends, play cards, eat, make memories. And you know, the sim that I played in this house, sad, his wife died at a young age. I did not even mean to do that. She had her toddler, like she just gave birth and the kid turned into a toddler and then she died. So now it's a single dad living in this house with his child. So this house, it also is a lot to me because this is actually, that was one of my personal games, like a game I use mods in, I use whatever, but that's my 4th generation. So the fact that happened in this house, like I played this house a lot. So yeah, lots of memories in this kitchen. Oh, I can't remember her name, to be honest. But dearly departed. She loved this dining room. Also, with the clutter here, I wanted to get as creative as possible. So sometimes I like to use different vases and put flowers in the vases. Here I used an olive vase, which is something you wouldn't want to put flowers in real life, but I thought maybe it kind of looked like a design on the outside. Just any way that I can use a object, I'll try to think of it creatively. And as you can see, also as I'm building, I like to play test. Sometimes I wait till the very end to play test. Sometimes I play test when I'm in the middle. If you're wondering how to play test, the best way to do it is just quickly make them sit in all the chairs, have them cook like a grilled cheese, make sure it's not a salad because they can't use a stove. Just some advice in case if you're wondering how to play test. It's something you will miss things still. Very rarely I miss things, but sometimes I do. I'm not perfect. I'm not. So anyway, we're moving into the living room. This living room is a really spacious place for such a small room, and I wanted to give enough seating for friends, for family. There is not room for a Christmas tree, which most of my builds there are not. When my sim celebrated Winterfest here, the tree was outside. When I play, sometimes I'm like, aesthetics are second. So I'm like, it's Winterfest. They need to get the notification, or I want to like complete the task of decorating. So I just like throw the first, like, here's a wreath, here's this, here's a rug. And and then I put the Christmas tree outside. But if you're really into aesthetics and you want a nice holiday fest in this house, you could easily take out a couch for an afternoon and put the tree right in the center where it can shine its brightest. But yeah, I don't have the patience for that. And if you downloaded houses from the gallery because you don't like building, maybe you also don't have the time for that. So I get you. I also kept with the gray theme in here. A lot of the time, living rooms are where I like to like pop color, but instead I used a pop of print, which is what I got from these chairs. So a pop of print, I don't know if any of you guys ever do that either, but sometimes if I want to keep the build fairly neutral with colors, I'll still try to throw in like a really fun print so not everything is solid. I mean, do I have like a degree to give you this kind of advice? No, but it's just something that's helped me in the past when I feel stuck. I don't get stuck all that often. This build particularly, I just had to splice it 2 times, and that means I didn't take any breaks, which is great. I did do it in 2 different sittings. It took me about 2.5 hours. So if you are wondering how long a build like this takes, roughly 2.5 hours for me. I take usually minimal 2 hours, anywhere to 16 hours for building. It all depends how big it is, and also how much I feel inspired while building. This one just felt more natural, and this back wall, I don't know if I love it or if I hate it. It's the weirdest thing. I wanted to do something completely different, something I've never done before, so I used those spa day end tables, and then I moved them kind of up on the wall, and then I put like real vines in the back, and then I put some other plant pieces and then candles. I mean, it's weird because I like it and I don't like it at the same time. I'm like, is it cool? I don't know. You tell me, maybe in the comments below. But otherwise, it's something I've never done before, nothing I've seen before. I rather just try to explore all my options and try everything, and some things don't work, than be afraid to try anything at all. So that's what I have to say about that. That's some good life advice also. You might as well try, and then it not work out than never try at all. So sometimes you just have to try something weird on The Sims, and if it doesn't end up looking very cool or as beautiful as you'd hope it would, it's still something different. So be unique and be you. For these, I'm on a roll tonight. I have such a hard time building with cool tones. I don't know what it is. It's like when a build starts feeling cold to me, I don't know what items to put in there. And it's like I'm on this mission to warm it up. But sometimes builds are meant to be cold. I've been working on one recently that is just a very like white build, and I'm struggling with making it feel a little bit warmer in there, but without taking away the theme and the look that I'm going for. I put a lot of tiny living stuff in this bathroom. I kept it all white. Sometimes an all white bathroom is just what you need. I wanted to keep it, along with the rest of the house, very neutral, and all that good stuff. So I also put just some clutter in here. It's a small bathroom, but I still wanted to make it feel big. And that's why I put it in the center of the house. I hate when windows are in the bathroom. I just hate it because I do this thing, layout is something I'm getting better at, but my layouts, I always kind of like the walls, I do it almost like, all right, here's the thing. I don't think creatively. So I'm trying to work on my layout. So I was like, let me put the bathroom in the center of the house, which growing up, my downstairs bathroom was right in the center, and it broke up the house really nicely. So another piece of advice, if you're looking for it, if that's why you're here, if you are looking for another way to make your house just a little different or a little bit more creative, try to play with the layout a little bit more. Try avoiding like cliches of what I don't usually do. Just go along the outside of the edge and just, try to explore with that a little bit more. Make hallways, make gyms, make lofts. So this is now the kids' bedroom. I can't remember if I kept that print, all the wallpaper. I don't usually do crazy pattern wallpaper on all walls, but this one I did because I kept every piece except for the bed a very plain white look. Something I personally feel, it's not right or wrong, but whenever I have a ton of pattern on the wall, like a ton of wallpaper and whatever, I like to make sure that everything around it is solid, just so that way the wallpaper can pop and it's not too busy on the eyes. But sometimes if you want to make a crazy chaotic build, like go right ahead, use all the wallpaper, have fun. It reminds me, if you're familiar with Sims 2 or Sims 1, my goodness, oh, what were they thinking? Those wallpapers, especially the ones that come with Making Magic. There's some wild ones. We'll get to Sims 1 later. I love Sims 1. I'm going to make a lot of Sims 1 video in the future, but let's get back to the Sims 4. The bedroom, I also wanted to do something a little different. I used this bed from Get Famous. I love this bed. Great mid-century modern bed. Very happy they made this because there are not enough beds in The Sims and not enough good beds. So this one, it matched beautifully with these cabinets. And so I framed the bed with the cabinets so it had a lot of storage. And then I put a mirror on that wall, just kind of making it look like it's just a backsplash, something a little different. Nothing crazy. And on that backsplash, or on that shelving unit, I put, books and incense because sometimes you gotta set the mood. And I'm pretty sure I kept the wallpaper throughout the bedroom also. I went a little crazy with the wallpaper apparently in the inside of the house, but most of the house is pretty solid color. So I really wanted to bring a lot of personality into the bedrooms, which is I love making bedrooms. I think bedrooms are the best space in Sims houses where you can make individuality shine. Because The Sims, one thing I really like about The Sims is that each of your Sims, at least for me, I get kind of attached to them. They're their own unique little being, and being able to design a bedroom just for them is like the most precious thing. I'm sure that's how parents feel, but that's how I feel about my Sims. Just creating a little space for them. Ooh, they're into art. Let me put an easel in there. Something like that. In this one, I didn't have a particular Sim in mind, so I just kind of got the vibe of a person or a Sim living there. I've said this in previous videos, but that's usually how I build. I have like a family in mind, or I have not even a real family, just like, when you start up a new game and you're like, I want this person to be a painter and I want them to love their family and have 2 dogs. So that's what I imagine. And when I upload it to the gallery, I'm hoping people with that family, it's like, this is for me. Like, it almost feels like it's custom built. All of my houses, I try to put as much personality into them and also as many activities and skills in the house, just because I don't know about you, when I play, I don't want to have to go to a community lot every time I want to strum on a guitar. So I like to make sure that I have the basics. So here we are, we're moving on to the outside of the house. I make sure there's a little grill area. I almost put grill areas in all of my builds. And this is where we kind of finish things off, just polish the house. I usually end with the backyard. But I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video today. I really appreciate it. If you like this video, you can give it a big thumbs up and maybe subscribe. If you did not like it, then good for you. I hope to see you guys in the next video. Bye.